It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. Become a diehard. Go PHNX.com. Pick up a free hat and or shirt every single year. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Bo Brack, Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. We are back and better than ever. Training camp continues. And just like the Cardinals, we are fully padded up and ready to go.
Are we? Where are you wearing some extra padding?
I don't think you want to know that.
You got some shoulder pads?
I don't think you want the answer to that here.
Oh, man. I am so pumped to be here. I like that Damon Dawg just let the music kind of play out. It's very vibey in here today, which is great.
The music actually goes really hard. I wish we could play that throughout all the time.
Just an hour and a half of just straight music bed. Jessica, Jules, Ben, Monty Osford's Burner, Owen, what's up, Kyle Plummer, everybody that waited around because we're a little late getting to the party, but that's because we were out there at training camp watching Kyler Murray rip it out there, Marvin Harrison Jr. pull down catches, and then getting to talk to the Cardinals franchise quarterback afterwards. A lot to digest after this Cards day 5 of training camp.
It's a very blessed day with the football gods at training camp because we saw what I believe is a sneak peek of what the Cardinals are going to be in 2024 and dare I say beyond. And it was led by one MHJ on full display. I don't want to say the Cardinals have had the training wheels on Marv, but Marv has just been a part of the offense. Today, in my opinion, he was the offense, targeted upwards of 7 or 8 times during team. And again, we'll break down everything. We've got some highlights later in the show. And of course, we're going to hear from the franchise quarterback. K1 took to the podium, but again, it is a banner show here on PHNX Cardinals live on a Monday. Drop a like in the description in this video and welcome everybody. Let's buckle up.
That's right. HTL as we transfer from holding the line to now hit that like.
Do it.
Hit that like. So it was first day of pads at practice today.
Yeah.
And we were expecting, and we heard this from BJ Ojolari. I asked BJ, the second-year pass rusher, excited to get pads on, and he's like, yes. And then Cam Cox followed up, was like, yeah, because the offense has been chirping a little bit, right? And he's like, yeah, when pads aren't on, everybody's wearing shorts, maybe the offense has a little bit of an edge. And I think the defense was wanting to come set a tone of physicality out there. And we did see some physicality, absolutely. But the offense kept on rolling.
Yeah.
And I think that the expectation is that's going to follow into the regular season. The Cardinals are going to parlay, a hot finish to last season, to the additions this offseason, to a solid training camp, what we've seen so far from their quarterback and playmakers, to this going and translating to regular season success.
Yeah, and we're going to give the defense a lot of love today in spurts. I think they did a lot of good things. They had a pick 6. They had some interior pressure. But the story today, I think, starts and ends with the offense, specifically the first team offense. And it should. That's where the majority of this team's resources have been invested. That's where the majority of the cap money is going to. Led by one Kyler Murray, among others. But, you said it on our drive over here. We actually carpooled today like a couple cuties. And Bo Brack said to me, just kind of nonchalant, we were talking about the cornerback room. And it's just like, there is nobody right now on the Cardinal roster, respectfully, that can handle Marvin Harrison Jr. one-on-one. That's not a take. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. Watch it on display. What we saw in number 18 today, the fluidness, the hip motions, his head bob, the way he gets in and out of breaks. And it's not like they're running go routes and, hey, Marv, just go catch deep passes. But just his separation from opposing defensive backs. And really, Bo, what stands out, the comfort level from one Kyler Murray with MHJ was on full display at State Farm Stadium.
Yeah, and he talked about it, right? He's fully confident already in his guy. He's got a lot of trust. Let's actually hear from K1 on MHJ.
I just think the natural ability, I think you just watch him, you can watch him and tell when a guy's got it, he's got it. And he definitely has it. So
everybody asking tongue-in-cheek if I had to get a booster into your truck. Thankfully, I drove today, so I had no problem getting in and out of my vehicle. But I appreciate everybody, their concern for my safety.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I would have helped Johnny into my truck, but no, he was kind enough to pick me up, drive me all the way out into Glendale, take me all the way back, and yeah, it was just a simple question and answer.
We were in sync,
yeah,
just like MHJ and K1.
We were
I
mean, this was our version, and I apologize, Damon, Dawg. Like, you probably have to play the role of the offensive line here, kind of the unsung hero. But,
sure.
You know, the playmakers were out at UCLA working on their rapport, on their game, just a little team bonding effort. Yeah. And we're stronger for it. But I simply said to you, like, can anybody cover Marvin Harrison Jr.?
No.
And you said, as you were exiting the freeway, no. And then darted out into oncoming traffic, which, you know, we're luckily alive.
No, come on. We're safe. We're happy. And we're doing this show live in front of all of you. Drop that like if you have not done so already. But, you know, jokes aside, you know, you see the highlights. We're going to play some here in a little bit on the show. Find them on our Twitter right now. Go and follow us, PHNX Cardinals, Brack at Johnny Venerable. It was the day I think a lot of people were waiting for at Cards Camp because, again, like, I see it every morning, like when I get up, when I'm having my coffee, whatever. Dove Kleinman and all the frauds out in New York, they're posting Malik Neighbor highlights, you know, coming back on out routes and comebacks, saving Daniel Jones bum ass. But like, and I'm sure Malik Neighbors is going to be a good player.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there is not a comparison between what Malik Neighbors is going to do this year and what Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to do this year.
And look, I mean, it's what Marvin does is he makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't look that easy as a first-year pass rusher, as a guy going into his first camp.
Yeah.
But what he has that nobody, like, there's few people on this planet that actually have this experience. And we saw a little bit, like, the New York Times had mentioned something about him and Devin Fitzgerald getting together and having a conversation.
Yeah.
I haven't really looked into that story too much, so I don't want to give it too much love before I kind of fact check it a little bit. But, like, what it's like to be the son of an all-time player like Marvin Harrison Sr., a guy that developed a true rapport with his quarterback, Peyton Manning, and they took their game to the highest level it could possibly go, right? And a Syracuse wide receiver became one of the greatest receivers of a generation and made his way to Canton and won a Super Bowl and was the main target for Peyton the entire way before he made his way out of Indianapolis. So can he replicate that? But really what it comes down to is he's got the tools, right?
Yeah.
And nothing's going to overwhelm him because he's been able to get a look at it from, you know, a different perspective, but it's not all brand new to him.
Yeah, and, you know, this is cliche, but we're going to say it anyway because it bears repeating. He's one of the first people on the practice field every day, and he's out there catching passes off the judge machine. He and Michael Wilson damn near every day after practice. You know, I asked you, Bo, nonchalant off air today, who he reminds you of thus far in camp because he had so many comps coming into the NFL and you know, people say he's got his dad's work ethic, which I think has been on display, but just from a physical standpoint. Yeah. And you and I came up with the same answer, not having conversed at all. He looks like young AJ Green right now at practice. Like you know, I think Megatron, Calvin Johnson was maybe a little bit more physically built, a little bit thicker, as was Julio Jones. Like, he looks like early AJ Green, not AJ Green at the end of his career with the Cardinals. I want everybody just to go look up peak AJ Green with the Cincinnati Bengals, who potentially put together a Hall of Fame level career. That, in my opinion and yours, that's what Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like at Cards Camp. Seamless. It looks easy. I still think there are some Randy Moss type attributes. We have not seen him be able to high point a ball because I think he was held back by Kyle McCord in the quarterback room at Ohio State. Go back and look at the tape 2 or 3 years ago from CJ Stroud at Ohio State. So I would say, like, AJ Green, and we're hoping for some Randy Moss. I mean, we're eating good in the desert if that's the case.
Yeah, look, Agent 47 saying watch AJ in his prime. It's insane.
It was with rag arm Andy Dalton.
Like, recency bias crushes AJ Green, especially when you think about, you know, the highlight that you, for whatever reason, decided to throw out there. I think you're putting Mad Mojo.
It was so poetic, though. Same number, same corner of the end zone, different results. One ended in a game-ending interception. One ended
when
I
posted
touchdown.
Marv catching a ball in the end zone yesterday at Sunday's practice, that was just for the season ticket holders. It was a little bit of a rhythm and timing play. Yeah. And Marv, he's right there. Once the ball's there, he makes the snag. And then you put up, the infamous AJ Green, was it Thursday Night Football?
Yeah.
Where he doesn't turn around against the Packers in the end zone.
It's the exact same,
could have been a
route.
signature moment for Kyler. Instead, it's a Rasul Douglas game-winning, game-sealing pick. How dare you? But that's what we remember. But, AJ Green, absolutely, AJ 47, my colleague here, my co-host, is exactly right. Like, you look at his over 1,000 yards his rookie season, then he goes double-digit touchdowns, years 2 and 3. He's over 1,000 yards for the first, 5 straight seasons, AJ Green?
Mm-hmm.
And with what they really had no momentum going into the start of his career, it was him and Andy Dalton jumpstarting that thing, where I think it's different. He's coming in and adding to a very impressive collection of playmakers, a really rock solid infrastructure that's budding that they didn't have the luxury of in Cincinnati back then.
Yeah, and let's talk about some of the rest of the playmakers, because it's it's headlined by MHJ, but Michael Wilson. I mean, we're beating a dead horse here. He looks sensational. Had a touchdown in the red zone appearance, and Albert Breer had a good article for the MMQB via Sports Illustrated today, and he was at Cards Camp yesterday. You had a chance to chat with him. We're hoping to get him on the program here soon, but basically, there's comps right now to, this show's all about comps suddenly. Michael Wilson being comped to like an Adam Thielen, which Cardinals would absolutely sign up for that. Who's had a tremendous career both in Minnesota and now in Carolina. And you can kind of see that between his route running, his burst, his acceleration, his physicality. He was underneath today, and I think it was B.J. Ojulari got turned around. He snags a ball out of the air and dives into the end zone. That combination of MHJ and Michael Wilson, those are the two alpha receivers. And then Greg Dortch is doing just about everything. We were debating, how many touches is Greg going to get? Because he'll get a couple passes thrown his way. He's running the ball. He's by far their best return man right now. So there's just a lot of diversity. But again, the biggest thing is these are all youthful players. Outside of Michael and his injury history, which it is what it is, you ought to be able to log in a lot of mileage on these players. You're not having to have training camps of years prior, even last year with the Cardinals, where Colt McCoy had off days. He couldn't throw the football. Hollywood Brown, who, by the way, is not currently practicing for the Kansas City Chiefs. Shocker there. He missed damn near every third practice with the Cardinals last year. Zach Ertz was hurt. Old players, beaten down, slow. That's the opposite of what's on display at State Farm Stadium. Everybody is out there trying to get theirs, trying to help this team win, trying to help themselves, right? Trying to get next contracts. But, it's evident with the competition level and the style of play right now.
Yeah. I don't want to be disrespectful Adam Thielen at all, because peak Adam Thielen was really, really good.
Really good.
Yeah. Just unbelievable red zone threat for Kirk Cousins and those high-flying Vikings offenses. But I think that Michael Wilson, it underserves him a little bit, especially early on.
Okay.
I think if Michael Wilson, because you look at Adam Thielen, who had such an uphill climb coming out of college. He played at Minnesota State. Michael Wilson played in the Pac-12. I know it was some down Stanford programs, but when he was healthy, he was playing against top-notch talent. He already had, showed that he could play at a high level in the NFL last year. I think, and physically, I think he's a little bit more gifted than Adam Thielen. But if I'm not going to kick you, say Albert Breer, that's absurd.
Well, they're both 6'2", they're both 200 pounds. I think Adam Thielen historically was he underneath? Was he a slot receiver in his heyday?
No, he's more of an outside. Okay. He probably played a little Z. I don't know if he played X.
Yeah, I'm with you. Those peak years in Minnesota were really good. He had a slow start to his career. I don't think he popped until year 3 or 4. Whereas Michael Wilson is on the verge of having 1,000 yards this year if he stays healthy. If I put you on the spot right now and said, if Michael Wilson plays 16, 17 games this year, is he going over 1,000 yards? I think there's just things that you don't even think twice about with not only his ability, but just the comfort level and his role in this offense. He earned it last year. And now having a comfort level, we heard from Drew Petzing today. Yeah. They're not going to come out and say it. Just like when we asked Gannon about the personnel level, the offense and where they're at. We were talking about this on the drive over. They were preparing multiple quarterbacks during training camp last year that didn't even start the opener for them. Think about that. Their starter at this time last year was cut a month later. So all these reps that were being had by the offense was led by Colt McCoy, who has not played a down of NFL football since. Whereas now this is Kyler Murray, Marv, and Michael Wilson, and everybody else. That's your battery against Buffalo week one. That's going to be the same, God forbid, unless something happens injury-wise, 6 weeks from now in Buffalo as it is every single practice, every single first-team rep. I mean, think about how behind the 8 ball they were and really how competent they looked even during that time.
Yeah, and it's a kind of a tip of the cap to the players on this team.
Yeah.
To buy in and see the opportunity that could be here so early in year 2 of a rebuild.
Yeah.
But, you know, for the coaching staff to get these guys in a position and find the collection of guys that have the will to, the want to get better. And knowing that they can pick up where they left off last year offensively, you know, as they started to nail down the playbook, get more comfortable with each other, get the rhythm and timing down. And then also, like, once they became a full unit, like with the addition of Marv and the rest of the playmakers and Zay Jones, who, you know, I still believe like as wide receiver 4 is going to have a big role in this team. Like what they're going to be able to do. And then they go and they do all these off-campus activities. And I know we talked about it a lot, but, you know, going and working out at Saguaro High School, going and also to UCLA where Kyler Murray picks up the tab to have these guys, you know, work out together, where Michael Wilson said they were competing from when they woke up in the morning, whether it's ping pong to playing cards to out there on the playing field to late night workout sessions. I know you're not unfamiliar with that.
I'm not. No,
you're in the lab pretty much at any moment. And like,
I did ride the Peloton for 25 minutes this morning before camp,
but no big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah, it's boring. It's his life. But for them to be able to hit the ground running in training camp instead of, hey, let's get to training camp and then get up to speed, and then we'll find a report sometime in like week 3 of the preseason. Yeah. Like, no, this team is poised by Buffalo to be well-oiled and really kind of make a statement week 1.
We heard from Kyler Murray. We're going to get to a bunch of his comments, but I think one that stood out to me was there's a sense of urgency with Kyler Murray. Not that it hasn't been there in years prior, but he made an offhand comment. Basically, like, I've been in this league for 5 years, and I know I say this to you guys every year, and it probably sounds ridiculous, but I'm not used to losing like this. And just to hear that kind of somber humility coming from K1, like basically implying like, yeah, we've lost way more than we should have here, and I'm kind of over that. I am over that, and this is the way we're going to remedy it. And it just shows you, as great as individual entities can be, if everybody's not on the same page, you are screwed. You have no chance for sustained success. That's what we saw in 2021 and 2020 when they collapsed each of those subsequent seasons and late in the year. I mean, they did not finish well at all. And that was a big reason why Cliff Kingsbury is no longer with this franchise. But they have an opportunity right now, when you look at the infrastructure of this front office, coaching staff, and quarterback, to put together a period of sustained success that we have not seen with this franchise, maybe ever. Like, we talk about it all the time. Warner and Palmer, those always felt like they had a shelf life. Bruce Arians felt like he had a shelf life. This is the first time you're going to be able to come out to Cards Camp and hopefully games this year and see an infrastructure of, this team's led by Kyler Murray, and damn near everybody below him is of the same age or younger, and they can grow and build together, and they can have these players that they drafted and developed have their peak years here. Yeah. This isn't the retirement home for NFL players anymore, right? These are players that, there's a reason that they're not included on any list nationally. It's because people don't know who they are yet. That will change this year. We're about 2 months away from everybody on the national scene knowing exactly who Michael Wilson is and Paris Johnson Jr. and hopefully guys like Darius Robinson and B.J. Ojolari. But it's going to take time, and more importantly, it's going to take winning.
Yeah, I want to rip through a couple of these comments because you guys are crushing it in the chat. Keep it going. How about Jessica saying K1's growth is so evident right now? I feel the same way. Absolutely. It's on full display, especially was on display when he spoke to us post-practice. Yeah. Ozzy saying, love K1's attitude. Dude is so locked in. It's crazy. But then he also says, Keim and Cliff, they or would they say, who said they ruined him, right? Basically, he ruined his career. Yeah, Ozzy saying, not so fast. Like, it's not over yet. Yeah. And luckily, he's going into his prime years, and he's rid himself of those two burdens. And we'll talk about Keim a little bit later. We'll have some fun with his latest business venture. But, you know, the Arizona Cardinals with Kyler Murray in place, and where we're sitting, like the best quarterback that was in training camp last year is the Cardinals' worst quarterback this year in Clayton Tune.
And it's pretty obvious.
Right. And this was a team that hit the regular season that were scratching and clawing and being competitive. Now that you've got this elevated talent, this infusion of talent, and that they're going to be locked into the scheme and what they're looking for as far as rhythm and timing, especially offensively, they're going to be in a really good spot, even though it's a gauntlet schedule to start things.
Yeah, and I was talking to our beat reporter today, and basically Craig Morgan and I were conversing about the differences between last year at this time and this year. And yeah, you see it in position drills and you see it during, you know, scrimmages and team. But I told Craig, I said, last year, it even looked hard for them at times to do the simplest of like handoff drills, and the ball was always on the ground. If you go out to practice, a good indicative of how far this team has come, how much work they put in, even this offseason. The ball hardly ever touches the ground at State Farm Stadium, unless they're in a position where they're playing live and it's team. If it's an offensive drill, the ball's in the air and it's in a receiver or running back's hands. I mean, they're night and day beyond where they were last year, and they know they are. You can tell between Gannon and Petzine's body language, smirks, like they know how far they've come. And it's not just with personnel, it's with the embedment of the scheme and the philosophy. They had no turnover on their coaching staff. That's made a huge difference right now. So they are the easiest team to buy right now. Like, we were sitting on this show last year and we were talking about how difficult it was going to be for this team to compete based on what we were watching. And that ended up very much being the case.
Yeah.
You can look at this team right now and the fact that, yes, the straw that stirs the drink is their quarterback, but everything else that's in place outside of maybe one or two positions, pass rusher being the highlight right now, I'm sure we'll talk about that ad nauseum. Like, they have more answers than questions, in my opinion.
Yeah. Pork 270. I bet they throw the full offense out there for a drive or a couple plays. I don't know. I've been trying to get the answer as far as
you've been a good soldier.
How much, I had to ask Kyler himself. I asked Petzing today. I don't even remember. I've been asking everybody.
You asked Gannon.
I asked somebody that put us through the metal detector. I said, "Hey, is Kyler going to play in preseason?" They said, "Get out of here."
It's a question that has to be asked, but nobody likes when you ask it.
Yeah.
And people kind of are turned off by you when you do it.
Yeah, they're disgusted.
And then I swoop in with a very layered question, and they give me a 5-minute answer. We've got the answers for you, as do our friends at our friends at Bet365, as I nearly butcher the intro to that read. But in all seriousness, I was on Bet365 over the weekend, and I made an investment because I know this number is going to change. You can bet on over-unders right now for the NFL season with our friends at Bet365, and we have kind of been hearing through the tea leaves, Cardinals over-under is going to go up a point. It's going to go up a game. It's at 6.5 right now with our friends at Bet365 at, I got it at -135. I'm not going to tell you the amount I put down on it, but it's a sizable amount. I took the over at 6.5, and I'm going to tell you right now, I fully expect the next time I look at those, it's going to be 7.5.
Yeah, get it now.
Yeah, get it right now. This is one of the easiest lines, and Bet it 365 is going to take care of you. And there's a bunch of over-unders I like. Denver's at 5.5. I might like the under there. Carolina's, I think it's 6.5. I like the under there. We've got the Falcons at 9.5. I might take the over. I mean, Rams are at 8.5. There are a lot of tasty bets with our friends at Bet365. And again, if you're not a new customer, what are you waiting for? We're going to hook you up right now. New customers deposit just $10 on really my favorite new partner that we have. And if you place a bet of just $5 or more, $150 in bonus bets is instantly yours. I love seeing the screenshots, people making out big with Bet365 with those bonus bets because of this deposit, $10 promo code PHNX365. But there's also, if you're looking to go bigger than that, how about First Bet Safety Net offer? By placing a bet up to $1,000, if your qualifying bet loses, you're going to get $1,000 in bonus bets, like no questions asked. So if you do 500, 750, anything up to 1,000, it is yours with our friends at Bet365. And again, it's Parlay City. It's same game parlays. I can't wait to just click that little button here as the NFL season becomes ever closer. But speaking of close, you do have to be physically located here in Arizona to use our friends with Bet365. Download the app today. You got to be 21 years and older. Now, if you or someone you know does have a gambling problem and they want help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more information.
Oh, man. It's unbelievable. So is the chat. And also, you talk about my truck, and it's about time for an upgrade.
Yes, it is.
It's
a smaller upgrade.
That's right. And I'm, when you first think about, okay, now I got to get myself in some new wheels.
Yeah.
Where do you turn to first? You turn to Ford, right? Sanderson Ford. They got those F-150s. They are so beautiful.
Johnny talks about sizing down, but that's not what Ford's all about.
No, it's not. You get into a big old truck. The analytics are off the chart on a Ford F-150. You love it. I mean, you got to go check out their entire facility. Sanderson Ford, family owned for 3 generations. They thrive on no hassle. They're not gonna get in there and nickel and dime you. Oh, I gotta go talk to my manager, see if I can work this out.
I hate that.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I talked to my manager. Actually, we're going to up the interest rate. Actually, it's going to be extra couple grand. No, that's not the case with Sanderson Ford. No nonsense sales approach. No pressure either. It's unreal what's going on. Sanderson Ford Summer Sales Event is here, and they're teaming up with the boys of summer for the final playoff push with the Snakes, because the Snakes are hot. Why not team up with the hottest team in the Valley outside of the Arizona Cardinals? Purchase or lease a new Ford and get 4 tickets for your family. See the D-backs push for the playoffs. Get 0% for 36 months. OAC from Ford with Ford Credit. See dealer for details. We love Sanderson Ford. Cannot wait to get myself behind the wheel of a Ford F-150.
You got Max Simpson ready to run through a fucking wall back
I'm
here,
ready
bro.
to run through a wall. I mean, Sanderson Ford, you hear the jingle, that'll get you fired up as well. We love Sanderson Ford. We are proud to say it's our official vehicle partner here at PHNX Sports.
You and I would look good getting to a Ford F-150.
Yeah.
I feel like we should get matching ones.
Have you seen those F-150s? Just cruise down I-10.
Same color, same leather interior. We're gonna be hauling stuff in the trunk, and we're gonna be hauling ass in our Ford F-150s.
Like Dom and who's Paul
Sirianni.
Walker's?
Oh,
What's his character's name?
Talking about Big Dom.
No,
I thought you were talking about Big Dom too.
What's Paul Walker's name in Fast and Furious?
Shoot.
R.I.P. I haven't seen any of those movies.
Yeah, but you and I will just be looking across at each other.
Yeah,
cruising in our Ford
cruising
F-150s.
up to camp in our Ford F-150s.
Brian, that was stupid of us.
Yeah, we should have known.
Disrespectful.
Not familiar with that program.
Rest in
Let's
peace.
get to some of these super chats here if we could. Damon Dawg here on a football Monday. That guy, Angelo, friend of the program. Thank you so much. $10 super chat, supporting the show on that level. I know you guys didn't catch my Friday super chat. What? I hope this one makes it through. Well, apologies, Angelo.
Sorry about that, my man.
But glad to see you at practice again. Did you notice Robinson rotate and motion at D tackle and left end? Love you guys at the Red and White. We want to see you and Angelo at the Red and White. Hit us up on Twitter. Shoot us a DM and let's hook up, my guy. Yeah. We did see and hear from Darius Robinson on the field today. And, we emphasize it, man among men with his half shirt. So if you're not familiar, Darius Robinson tucks in his jersey into his shoulder pad so he can expose his midsection.
Yeah.
There's not a big more alpha play than that if you're an NFL defensive lineman. He looked fantastic. I think we talked about this off air. The combination of he and Marvin Harrison Jr. it's going to go a long way for this team. And yeah, they were first round picks, but we know as this franchise, not all first round picks are created equal. Darius Robinson right now is as advertised.
Yeah. Adaptability, versatility, obviously got a lot going on between the ears. He's a technician. I think he's technical and he's violent.
Mm-hmm.
He's so physical out there. And I couldn't wait to see Darius Robinson with full pads today. We got to watch him do a couple one-on-one drills, just hitting some offensive linemen. And you could see that even though he's a first-year player, he's not somebody that's coming in behind in the strength department. Definitely a strong young man. And as we were pointing out, you got him. He's going to move across that entire defensive line to start things out. He's a defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we're going to see him stand up and play like off-ball linebacker edge rusher, but I think he plays 3-4 defensive end.
The Cardinals have a needed pass rush. We know that. And this is the first day of padded practice, so I'm not going to jump to conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody's seen anything to kind of diminish that sense of urgency there, at least from the exterior. B.J. Ojulari and Zaven Collins are steady. We need to see them jump off the practice field, and that hasn't happened yet. So I think that Darius playing end in certain packages, maybe if they have 4-3 fronts at times, is going to be done out of necessity because maybe he's one of your best pass rushers. So I think putting your best players in positions to succeed like that is smart. I think it's a big reason why a guy like Mack Wilson could see some time off the edge. But that position is 100% up for grabs. But in base defenses, I think he's going to start at 4-3 or 3-4 defensive tackle.
I did witness some Mack Wilson off the edge.
Nice.
Unfortunately for him, he's going up against Paris Johnson Jr.
Not nice.
And was subdued pretty easily. But look, Paris is a big boy. Saint Blurry, 1999 super chat. So generous. Thank you so much. Got to see Bo Brock in action. He acknowledged and waved back. That's right. Also got to go down to the field and shake Monty's hand. You got to shake the architect's hand, huh? And talk to some of the players. Great experience. Shout out PHNX. That's unbelievable that you got to do it. St. Blair, it was great to see you up there in the stands. And also, I hear our guy Merv was there. I didn't get to talk to him, but you did.
I feel like Merv was there. He's keeping me honest when I accidentally tweeted that Garrett Williams had a pick 6 of Clayton Tune. It was actually Starling Thomas.
You stupid idiot.
I am a big dummy dumb. I was off of MHJ high, and at that point, I was just seeing number 18 everywhere. But Merv, friend of the program, 199. Opinion on the D-line performance day at Cards Camp. Well, let's get into that, Bo.
Okay.
Again, edge rusher. I didn't see anything that jumped on the screen, but I think the defensive tackle play was impressive. I continue to say this is a position group that can very, very well be average to slightly above average on NFL Sundays. They've just added too many good players. Like Darius Robinson is going to be a really good player for a long time.
Yeah.
Justin Jones is solidified as a good player in this league, and Bilal Nichols, I think, could be the surprise at camp just with his intensity and his work ethic and the way he carries his size. He's a huge man. So that defensive line group, D-tackle defensive line group, I think has a chance to really surprise people. That and the secondary are two of the biggest kind of welcome surprises thus far.
With being the first day of pads, you look to see those pockets collapse even more so than they did in the previous days of training camp. And that happened a little bit, but when the ones were on the field, it did result in maybe some incompletions between Kyler Murray. And I noticed this, and you can see this in our notes video that will drop after the show. When Kyler Murray seemed to be under pressure, when the ball got out, number 18 was on the other end of it.
That's right.
He was looking for Marv when he was under duress. I think, I wish I could tell you that it was like B.J. Ojulari or Zaven Collins that's generating the pressure. I know I saw one pass rush where Dennis Gardeck was just an animal and pushing the pocket and collapsing the pocket. So that's what I saw primarily, especially when it was ones versus ones. But didn't see too much as far as saw a little bit from Xavier Thomas and I think Jesse Laquetta and Victor Dumakaji, but that was all expected. As far as the guys with raised expectations, nothing flashed in day one of pads.
The Cardinals have respectfully some B's and C's at edge rusher, true edge rusher. They do not have an A. Like that's evident. We knew that coming in. Could somebody develop into an A? It's possible. We're hopeful. I think B.J. Ojulari has that best opportunity. But I think let's judge that when the games start. I think Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis are going to get enough pressure from their defensive tackle group. I think they're going to be able to scheme up some pressure, send some people off the edge, manufacture it. But, it's the biggest question mark / weakness on the team, opportunity on the team. When you're rushing 3 or 4 and you're going up against Matthew Stafford and Geno Smith and Brock Purdy, can someone quote, it's called getting home on the quarterback? I don't know the answer to that. I can't sit here and tell you it's going to work out this year. I hope it's not the difference between them making the playoffs and not. But again, they feel confident in the guys that they have. They're giving those players, the Gardecks and the Zavens, every opportunity to show them what they need to see to feel comfortable going into the season. But, if we're sitting here and it's 3 weeks from now and they're not happy with it, guess what? They're going to go out and they're going to be active.
Yeah.
Austin Ford spoke yesterday, and we didn't have a chance to talk about this. We didn't do a live show, but you heard from Monty Austin Ford, and he said, like, we're very familiar with what's out there in the free agent market. So maybe that's leading you to believe, like, hey, there's nothing that we feel like is an upgrade yet.
Yeah, and I think basically what he outlined, I think Monty Austin Ford's the master of telling you a lot, but not telling you a whole lot. He's not going to reveal much of any of his cards, because what does it benefit him as the general manager of an NFL team? But, Craig Morgan asked him about the edge position. Was it a product of the status quo basically returning, product of they wanted to see what these guys were about in year 2?
Yep.
Or what was the inactivity about? And then Monty Austin Ford in 2 answers basically said that, they go throughout the offseason. If, opportunity arises in free agency, or if the draft dominoes fall your way and the player happens to be there, then that's how you start kind of checking boxes at different positions.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like they ever felt like they were in a position to make an upgrade at the outside linebacker spot. And we talked about that. Like, that could be detrimental to the success of this team ultimately, because it's such a premium position, and that position disappeared at the tail, of the final 6 games of the year. And they've got to be able to find a way, to find the consistency from their outside linebacker room from game 1 to game 17.
It's going to be a bummer if that's the case. And again, like, here's the deal. Like, Jonathan Gannon, that's his side of the ball. That's his specialty. And he puts a lot of ownership on himself for that unit to perform. We heard from Drew Petzing today. He's got a very confident mindset. I asked him about balancing the offense with a run game and a pass game. And he's got a lot of tools to play with in his toolbox, right? And that was not the case last year. And I think that's why we talk about the offense. It's going to pay dividends. I think there's some diverse tools on the defensive side, but at the same time, you're missing 1 or 2, I think, that really can take it to the next level, or maybe you're unsure if you have it yet. B.J. Ojulari could very well be the key to this season outside of Kyler Murray. If B.J. Ojulari develops into a 12-sack player, we're sitting here and saying, man, this team up and down this roster, you're feeling really good about every position group. But, like, that's I would argue it's a top 3 position in the NFL. And if you have the kind of gaps in edge pressure, not just sacks, but consistent pressure this team had last year, it's hard for you to be a competitive NFL franchise. It just is. Like, most teams now, just like, receivers and skill players, have one kind of, if not elite, really good pass rusher on the roster that they can hang their hat on. Hell, the Giants have 2 of them, in Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, and we all think they're going to be shit this year. The Arizona Cardinals, to me, I don't doubt if they are not happy with what they see, they will try to be active. Now, the problem is...
And he did say that roster construction is always ongoing, and they're looking to improve.
I can tell you right now, you can take this to the bank. This is a PHNX Cardinals exclusive. Like, they know that the pass rush needs to perform, or they will have to make changes.
Yeah.
They are not naive sitting there saying, everybody else is wrong. We have a bunch of known commodities. They're smart. They know that that's the biggest weakness on the team right now until somebody steps up.
Yeah. EBEG, I think, better DT play. They certainly upgraded that position.
100%. Well said.
And CB play will help out a lot. No doubt about it. I think rush and cover, right? They just go hand in hand in the NFL.
Yeah.
As far as from your primary pass rusher, who can emerge, but they made significant upgrades in those 2 spots, the interior of the defensive line and their ability to cover. And I think their ability to cover is showing up here early in training camp. Like, I like what I've seen. You mentioned Garrett Williams, even though he wasn't the one in the pick 6, but I like Garrett Williams from what I've seen. I like what I've seen from Max Melton. Starling Thomas, who was the guy who had the pick 6, I think has had a strong camp and plays as a depth piece. And Keitrell Clark continues to go out there and compete. And if Keitrell and Starling Thomas are your break glass in case of emergency guys, I have no problem with that.
I mean, they were rolling in the season last year. It was Marco Wilson, Antonio Hamilton, and what? I don't...
Like, you talk about rush and cover, like, both were you're kind of puzzled with where you're going to get the pressure, where you're going to get the coverage.
Yeah, I mean, and they've come a long way, and
Yeah.
we don't even talk about the inside linebacking core because we have confidence in Kazir White and Chris Barnes, and so again, there's a lot of good things to
Mac
highlight.
Wilson.
To highlight defensively, but until we see otherwise, pass rush is going to be something that's top of mind for us preseason and otherwise. I think that joint practice in 2 weeks in Indianapolis is going to be very telling. Indianapolis, who's got solid offensive linemen, who's got quarterback that likes to move a little bit, and Anthony Richardson. Like, can the Cardinals win some one-on-one matchups that week in Indy against a team that is going to be vying for, I think, a postseason spot? It's going to be very telling. Let's talk a little bit more. Kyler Murray had more to say, Bo, today. He mentioned Marvin Harrison Jr., but he also talked about kind of what we feel like with this team, where if Kyler Murray does play all 16, 17 games, that the, quote, the sky is the limit. Here's more on K1 this year, not putting any limitations on the offense and the team, especially when you've got Jonathan Gannon as his head coach.
I mean, I think the sky's the limit. I don't put any limitation on what this offense can be or do. I think we're very versatile. Got great skill set as far as receivers and running backs. Again, me coming back healthy, I don't feel like I even scratched the surface of what I'm capable of as far as moving around, being a dual threat on the field at the back end of the season. So, like I said, I don't put any limitation on what we can do.
Gotta get you pumped up, right? I mean, haven't scratched the surface, not downgrading anybody, but I think that they feel like they're in a great spot, and they should feel like they've earned that. Like, as much as the work that they can put in an off season, I think that they've put in enough to say, hey, we're excited about this, and we're not going to put any limitations on this.
No, and I think again that's a big reason why people don't know what to make of this team, because it's like they have the pieces to be a success. I mean, would you rather have this offense or the Tennessee Titans, who are routinely ranked ahead of them? Would you rather have this offense or Geno Smith in Seattle, right? To me, it's laughable at times where this team is placed. And if you just look at like what we saw on display today was Kyler Murray, a quarterback that can lead you to the postseason, a quarterback that can move. He had a read option play that completely fooled, unfortunately, B.J. Ojulari off the edge. Yeah. And in a game, Michael Wilson said he probably scores. And it's probably a 50-yard read option off the right end for a touchdown. Jonah Williams with a nice block. Like, that's what he's capable of. And then, oh, by the way, he can hit Marvin Harrison Jr. on a deep out route. So, again, Kyler Murray is the key to the season. Newsflash, right? And it's going to be the biggest difference between, I was talking to Jody Earler about this at practice today, Bo. Like, Kyler Murray plays well, they're going to be a playoff team. If Kyler Murray misses 6-7 games, they're not going to make the playoffs. Like, it's very few teams you can say that about. Yeah. Like, and again, we're saying that about him specifically because he has not been able to finish seasons healthy. And he was asked today, like, what do you need to do to like return your deep ball to form or whatever? He was asked that because it had a drop off last year, and he kind of was just like, I just need to play, because he knows, and the front office knows, and the coaching staff knows. That's why they doubled down on him. When he's healthy and he's playing games for them, they are a productive team. Yeah, they might be a winning team with him. But if he's not on the field and he's not available, it doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, and Drew Petzing was asked about that as well today. And I thought his answer was pretty well thought out and put, as far as, you only try 5-6 deep balls max a game. Yeah. Like, it's not all you guys firing up college football 25 and just
letting it rip.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I think that, if you miss on a couple of those, like your hit rate goes from 80% to 20%, 10%, and they have expectations of explosives in this offense, and so does Kyler Murray. But and that was a part of the offensive game plan not being able to adjust. I think when he had that stellar 2021 and 2022, when completely fell off a cliff, that was, I think, a product of the offensive scheme not adjusting to what defenses were, combating you with. Where I think Drew Petzing is going to give you a lot better chance to really hit on the deep balls.
Let's see some of those deep balls on display. Ooh. Highlights from training camp today, where Kyler and the offense, they had it cooking. Here's K1. there's that option play off the right side. And Michael
I
Wilson
love
said
that.
that's a game he probably scores. Probably takes that up the right-hand side, Bo.
Here's Darius Robinson getting physical in pads. 66, poor Jackson Barton taking the brunt of that. There's Kyler, ball out. Greg Dortch making the catch, tiptoeing the sideline. Kyler looking, this is the Michael Wilson play. Catches it, dives into the end zone. You're right. Was Vance Joseph calling that defensive play? Because BJ was in coverage on Michael Wilson. Kyler, little dot to Trey McBride. Goes down and catches it. Kyler back to pass. Gets Trey, this one in stride. Trey McBride made a great catch yesterday against the basically against the pylon. Here's a deep ball to Michael Wilson. He hauls that one in.
Is K1 looking midseason or what? How about this play coming up here? A little MHJ action for you on a football Monday. So smooth as MHJ, making people miss downfield. Yeah, that last play, I was standing right there on the sideline. I told Bo it's hard for me, another height joke here, to get footage to completion because I can't. It's hard to see over the players, because they're huge professional athletes. Where Bo can position his camera. So I said, this play, I'm just going to focus on Marvin, and hopefully good things happen. And they did. Marvin caught that deep pass down the left sideline. And again, in all seriousness, the strides are evident. It doesn't even look like he's running full speed when he makes a play.
No, he's so smooth. And yeah, I mean, I'll beat myself up that I didn't have that same shot, but the stars aligned and you were ready for it. You were ready for your big moment. And I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that. Well, the stars aligned for me with our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union, and I'm proud of me and my family for committing to upgrade our financial acumen with the official credit union of not only the Venerable household, but how about PHNX Sports and the Arizona Cardinals? It's a trifecta. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicating and creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community, providing financial solutions that make lives better. And again, don't just take my word for it. They've got tons of people on record that have upped their financial acumen, and they've got people standing by ready to help with financial solutions tailored for you. Real people. This isn't a transaction. This is a financial institution and an education. Look for Desert Financial for a checking account. They've got savings accounts, mortgage rates. You're looking to buy a home and you want to get a lower mortgage rate. They've got people that can help you with that. Loans, maybe a personal loan. How about a credit card? Helping people in your life build credit, maybe a loved one, investment options, and more. Represent the Red Sea now with the awesome, and I rep it every day, Arizona Cardinal Visa debit card. There it is in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. All black with the red bird. You can get that. DesertFinancial.com/CardinalsBo to get started. Build out your free checking account today in a matter of minutes. Debit cards in the mail just a couple days after the fact. Desert Financial Credit Union, one of the best financial decisions my family has made. You do yours the same way, Bo.
Derek Fife, Johnny, you got to get on Bo's shoulders to get those money shots. Look, I could pick him up.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, Derek.
But Johnny picked me up today. That's right.
Wow.
We were carpooling the camp, rolled up to my house, said, we got to get some gas. I'd love to maybe chip in. He said, fear not. I actually filled up. What'd you say?
I filled up with my friends at Circle K.
That's right. Absolutely. And also, we still hit Circle K because we wanted to get in America's thirst shop for the premium treats and snacks pre-training camp. Got there and took advantage of the best deal of the season. How about 79-cent Polar Pops now until September 3rd? You want even more deals? Well, Circle K has them for you because they've got their Inner Circle free membership program. We've been telling you all about it. I'm not going to say it's new because it's not new to this program. We've been all about living that Inner Circle life for a long time. So much so, I'm saving 5 cents per gallon every fill up. You can save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill ups, 3 cents per gallon after that. And then if you're special like me, like Johnny, like Damon, Dawg, you'll get that 5-cent echelon. It's pretty legit. Find out more about the Inner Circle program by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details.
If you like that deal, if you want to make an investment
right
now with Circle K, I got an investment for you.
Yeah?
Steve Keim's got an investment for you. Everybody listen up closely. Do the name brand boss mean anything to you?
It means nothing to me. It means nothing to me. Please go on.
Steve Keim infamous Cards general manager. Well, he's been in hiding for some
Or our
time.
guy Jirai, right? He
What's
hit
that?
us up
He
in our
did.
DMs last night and
He
said,
did.
you guys got to check this out.
It was a little bit like a horror show. I'm trying to enjoy my Sunday evening, and now I'm being pitched and asked for $5,000 from the ex-GM Steve Keim. He started a new company, and you know what? Good for him. Go and do your own thing, your venture.
Yeah.
After
do anything, just stay away from this team.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
But he just hasn't lost his love affair with evaluating players, and now he wants to evaluate high school football players. And guess what? It's not free. There is a charge associated with it. With his new company, Brand Boss.
Brand boss. Be the boss of your own brand. There he is. Damon, did you manipulate this? You probably couldn't help because this framing on his shot was so bad.
I did my best to make him look as bad as possible in my screenshot.
But I still think like your award-winning producer kicked in and you fixed it a little bit because it's even worse.
What am I looking at here?
This is somebody with the camera presence of a scared child who's telling you about how, which just for the low cost of $2,500, $5,000, he can evaluate your high schooler and see how they can take their game to the next level.
I think that's it. So there it is. There are the tiers: $2,000, $3,500, and $5,000. Let Steve Keim spend your money today, Keim time style.
Blake Shelton approves.
I guess. Good Lord. How
Doesn't that make you want to sign an NIL deal?
I hope he's not a private investor in this company. I really don't.
Hey, look, country superstar Blake Shelton is a fan. And look, Colin Cowherd, for some reason, hit me live on his airwaves to talk football.
I would say that Blake Shelton wearing this T-shirt and Colin Cowherd having him on the show definitely gives him the authority to be handling these kids' money.
These are the testimonials I needed to see.
And then here we go.
Yeah, this is during the ad. The ad, which looks like it was like an ad for like a pawn shop, and I think that's giving it too much credit.
Yeah.
They show a computer screen and then you typing in where you need to go on your browser. And this was pointed out, I think, by Jirai, that there was somebody wanted to activate their Hulu account.
Yep.
And then also there was the old mugshots.com in Arizona.
You did not think to clear your history before you did this PSA sales pitch. And then even after that, if you've got investors, if you've got partners in this venture, before you put this out, it's on his Twitter, not even Twitter, it's on his TikTok. Steve Keim's on TikTok. If you're not interested.
Steve Keim 72.
Yeah, Steve Keim 72 on TikTok. Somebody didn't see that and say, Steve, maybe redo that shot. Just literally get that B-roll one more time. Steve Keim, his new venture, keep it away from the Arizona Cardinals. We were going to play the whole video, but we were worried about some copyright with some music. Yeah. So go find it yourself and, listen, I make your own decisions, but if it was me, I'd probably keep my money.
The framing's too good, but if we're like, do our own reimagining, it's just like, hello, I'm Steve Keim, former Arizona Cardinals general manager. I made Andy Isabella a second-round pick. I can make you a second-round pick. Give me all your monies, and I'll show you just how.
But for the low price of $5,000.
Does your son play quarterback? How would he like to play inside linebacker? Does he have all the tools to be average, a la Isaiah Simmons? Find out how he can be a top 10 pick today and maybe out of football several years later. Yep. Yeah,
it's the stuff writes itself. It's unbelievable. And he got ratioed so bad that they disabled the comments as far as to the ad.
You don't like to be able to read the room where you were not well thought of in this market.
Yeah.
And again, that's not just within the interweb space. Like I would think that's universally thought of. Like you came here to do a job, you had some good years, but your job was to build a sustainable winner. Your teams were terrible at the end, and your players that you pick were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then to turn around and say, you know what? Because I batted 100 in the first round, I'm going to turn around and tell you if your high schooler can play football and you give me money for it might be the worst sales. Like, I actually thought, like, frauding his way Tannenbaum style in the media world was going to be his avenue. And maybe it still will be. But to put that out there, like, I'm so good at evaluating players. Look at my resume. His draft resume, like, not tongue in cheek, is the worst of the last 20 years, I think, in the NFL. With how many shots?
Whoever was running the Raiders was pretty bad too.
But how many shots he got? He had 10 drafts to put together a winner, and he missed so much. He missed probably about 80% of the time. You had to luck into some picks at some point. He didn't even do that. The fact that now his calling card to turn around, have that little, like, with itness to understand, like, hey, I was so bad at this. Now I'm going to tell your kids if they're good or not. Like, God help the people that pay him. There are going to be people out there, though.
You know what's crazy is, like, he can be not deceitful. Like, he can tell the truth and say he wasn't fired.
Yeah.
Like, he resigned unceremoniously, but, like, poor people who are looking to really boost their kids' stock in getting and going and playing at the next level beyond high school are unfortunately going to buy, like, hey, this former general manager, they're not going to know all the details and variables that went into it. They're just going to say, hey, this guy was in the league for a long time. And they're like, oh, like, so who are some of your notables? And he'll be like, oh, I drafted Kyler Murray. And people will hear that and, like, this guy knows what he's doing.
I drafted Honey Badger in my first draft, and I drafted Kyler Murray. And listen, like, it...
Two players that fell into his lap.
Right.
I think Steve did some good things here. I think he wore out his welcome, and it is unfortunate because, like, I hate that, like, every time somebody who did some positive and then a lot of negative, but some positive, like, leaves the franchise, and we all are just like, they're the worst person.
Yeah.
Like, people are doing that with Patrick Peterson now, and inevitably, unless Kyler Murray wins, people do it to him. Like, I wish we were able to look back and say, like, yeah, it was time for him to leave.
Yeah.
Probably in 2018. But he took him to the NFC Championship game, and they won a division title. Good for him. Go and live your life. But now that everything just festers here, it's really kind of sad. Like, I saw that, and we made fun of it, but it's like, this is also very sad. Can we just, like, can you just not be around?
You're 6'2"? Yeah, find a different position. Receiver's not for you. That's way too tall.
I like guys that are twitchy, that are under 5'10", because they're like, you know, they can really get open in space. We like really, if you're tall, inside linebacker is really the place you need to be. Well, it's not a priority position. I think I'm going to stick to edge rusher. No, Hassan Reddick, you're an inside linebacker now.
Yeah, EG's saying he made some great trades. He did make some good trades. He had to.
He had good success early
The Chandler
on.
Jones trade was unbelievable steal for the Cardinals franchise.
I mean, it's the same reason why, like,
DeAndre Hopkins with the Texans is one of the greatest heists in NFL history.
He's a good salesman, and that's probably why he'll have some success with this. He's a good salesman, but his primary job was every April, you need to go and find cheap talent in the NFL draft, and he failed miserably at it. I mean, and even the players he did get right, Tyron goes and wins the Super Bowl with the Chiefs, couldn't stay here. Hassan Reddick has his best year not in Arizona, in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like, again, I'm just kind of, I just wish he wasn't so available now. But again, he lives in Arizona. Good luck to him in his venture. I don't think I will be subscribing though. No.
You got a young up and coming football player.
I think I'll just let his high school coaches eventually decide whether or not, you know, he can play the game.
Your loss.
I'm not going to go to Steve, unfortunately.
You could have an elite talent evaluator who did have a job, a title for
those
10
prices
years.
are wild, by the way.
They are.
Like, I do think it was like $200, $500, $1,000, $5,000, and I didn't even look on the website. There is a tab on the website that says Keim time, and I just chose not to click on it, to be honest with you. I had to log off at that point. Let's get to these super chats if we could, Damon Dawg. Derek Fife asking $279. Thank you so much, Derek. What do you guys have planned for game day this season? Oh my goodness, perfect segue, Derek. So we got a bunch of stuff planned. I can tell you definitively, we are going to have our home tailgates just announced earlier today at our friends at Chicken and Pickle in Glendale. So if you're in Glendale, if you're looking to hang out with fellow Cardinal fans, hang out at Chicken and Pickle ahead of the matchup. Every single home game on a football Sunday, You will not want to miss it. We were just there. I was there chomping it up on Saturday for the pickleball tournament, which I have not gloated about for PHNX
Interesting
Sports.
that you brought that up, John.
It is. Damon, you want to go ahead?
Hold on. Let's actually promote the tailgate first, and then it will be a free for all. I promise you. You guys can do whatever you want. Okay. But the
Someone's
tailgate,
defensive.
which is brought to you by Sanderson Ford,
Yes.
Chicken and Pickles, All Elite, every home game, giveaways, yard games, food and drink packages, plus parking. If you're going to the game, you stop by Chicken and Pickle, hang out with us, then go to the game. It's going to be unbelievable. Check out more. You can find we tweeted it out at PHNX Cardinals, and also you can find it, go phnx.com. Just look at events. It'll give you some info. Okay. Now, you ruthless bastards, let's hear what you have to say.
Damon, I'll defer to you. You were on hand at the pickleball tournament on Saturday for PHNX Sports.
I was, and there was a lot of talking going on this podcast. Yep. You know, Johnny bringing in a ringer, Bo saying, you know, you're going to see you know, Bo was talking a lot of crap.
That I was going to disappoint. My ringer was my father. That I was going to disappoint my family. That I was going to embarrass myself. Very similar to what was being said ahead of the 9-9-9 challenge. And, you know, I didn't defend myself. I just kind of let the chips fall where they may. And then I let
you do. You're a very humble man.
Thank you. I'm the most humble. And then I just went out there and I did my best. I tried to perform. And
now you're being gross modest.
There were 21 entries. We had, first of all, it was a sold out event.
Sorry.
There were 22 entries, and then somebody couldn't make it.
No.
Somebody ducked.
I didn't duck. Now hold on.
This I will not blow you shit for.
Yeah. See, I mean, I like that Damon wanted to see me out there on the court.
Yeah.
It just feels convenient. That's all I'm saying, Bo.
My wife and I could not make it because our babysitter ducked out mid-show Friday, and we scrambled, and we couldn't find anybody to watch it. We considered bringing our 3-year-old to the event, but I didn't know like how consistently we were going to play. Was it on like? Were you guys playing game after game?
Yeah, it was 3 hours. You had to be kind of in the zone,
Classy,
or at least
nasty,
some of us were.
You.
And when you're as good as Johnny and his dad, you're just playing all night long.
Okay, you didn't. What about you?
Not my best performance, but I got better, Bo. That's the thing. Could have won the beginners group. Signed up for intermediate because I like a good challenge.
That was a mistake.
It was a massive mistake, and got my ass kicked.
How many games did you win?
None of the ones that were sanctioned by the tournament. And then we played Michaela and Flex afterwards, and we won. Pretty easily.
I played in the intermediate, which was the hardest difficulty. And there were 21 teams, and my dad and I made it to the final 4.
How is Papa Venerable?
He was much better than I am.
Is he better than you saw, right?
Yeah, I didn't get to watch him really, but everybody that did watch him was like, yeah, he's kind of an animal out here.
It was like Kyler talking about Marvin. Like some people just have it.
Yes,
and he has it.
I think we beat everybody. We beat everybody at PHNX Sports that we played. We had a very nice opening win against Max and Jacob.
Whoa! Hold on.
Yeah. They beat Max and Jacob. They were scared to play Max and Jacob too, and then they ended up beating them.
Max and Jacob were chirping quite a bit.
Oh yeah,
they were. And then we got there and we were warming up against them, and I did not look good in warmups. And they're trying to give me pointers on how to serve.
You're a lights brighter guy.
Yeah, and then the game started, and we beat them. I think 11-8, and I think we had like 5 consecutive points.
You can be honest with everybody, like. Were you hustling him a little bit?
My dad was, for sure.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and he later confirmed that. He took it easy during warm-ups. So then we played Flex and Michaela. I'm not going to tell you those results because they're embarrassing to Flex and Michaela. So we're going to continue on. We went 2-1 in round robin play.
Yeah.
And then we got seeded in the tournament, and we won the opening matchup pretty comfortably. We won the quarterfinal matchup, had to come from behind. I did not play well that game. My dad had to save us, and we made it to the semifinals. I do not believe anybody for PHNX Sports made it farther than the first round of the tournament. I think
Jacob and
did they make
Max
it to the
made quarters?
But okay,
they lost.
My mistake.
Huh?
They lost to the team that ended up getting second
Gotcha.
place.
We made it to the final 4, and we lost to the team that won the whole thing. And we did not score a point against them.
They were unreal.
So we were very competitive. It was a good day. We played 6 matchups. We went 4-2. And yeah, between that and the 999 challenge, I feel like I've done my heavy lifting of retribution this summer. I feel like now I'm not going to mandate it. I have that authority on this show, but I'm not going to mandate it. The two-handed chug on this show, I'm asking be retired based on my efforts this offseason. I feel like I have re-earned my Manalytics man card this offseason.
Yeah.
Physical performance, mental performances, specifically in the 999 challenge. I'm not going to mandate. I'm not going to request it. I would just ask that you show me some sympathy at this time.
Valley Boy 14 saying that the lights were brighter than expected. For me.
For you. Yeah.
And that's okay. I'll wear that. I wasn't at the level that I needed to be in that intermediate group.
Yeah.
But I challenged myself. I got better. And next time I go out there, I am going to win a damn game. So not naming any
It's good
names.
to have goals.
Not naming any names. But I will say we were kind of winning in a game, me and Danielle. I believe it was our first elimination game.
Okay.
And we were kind of on a roll.
Okay.
We had the lead. And then I kind of got called out on my serve right in the middle of us being on our roll. And it felt like a pretty strategic call out.
Yes.
And me and Danielle really unraveled after that. We did.
That's unfortunate.
Was it?
They got in our head.
What would you say? Was the serve? Was it legal?
I mean, I wasn't like, they were telling me I needed to go more underneath, but it's not as if I was serving it tennis style over the top and spiking it in there. I was very lobbing it in there.
I feel like if it had been allowed at that point, they should have continued and let you finish the game like that.
No one else called me out first 3 games, just saying.
Yeah.
Who are you playing again?
I'm sure. I'm not sure what their names were, to be honest with you.
There were some serious players.
There were.
Do you know who he's talking
Some
about?
very serious players out there.
I mean, it was tough sledding. Saul Bookman was in competition. Coach Starks and friend of ours named Andy Price was also competing out there. So there's just a lot at stake at Chicken and Pickle. And we talk up this tournament. The sub bullet to all this is Chicken and Pickle is first class.
Yeah,
tremendous food. People who were falling out of favor early in the tournament. I was not in this bracket. I wasn't aware. We're getting shit-faced and ordering drinks early in the morning. And again, like I don't know that luxury when you're competing as long and as hard as I am. But again, the mixed drinks look fantastic. The margs appear to be on point.
Elite level athletes typically don't drink in the middle of their competition, but afterwards, that's when you indulge.
The wings, the nachos. So yeah, Chicken and Pickle, man. I can't wait for the tailgates this fall.
I just don't know what you're asking for, really. With like,
here comes a disingenuous comment.
I just. Like the chug, like you wanted to, like just stricken from the record, like it never happened.
I'm saying I want anything.
You
nor
had
do
a couple
I deserve
solid
anything.
outings, and you want us to wipe history.
If you were to go back and make a montage from this show, between Chicken and Pickle, but especially before the 999 challenge and the scum and villainy that was thrown my way, and the disrespect. And then my performance, completing my over-under for the 999 challenge was 3.5, and I completed it. And then I was told I was going to embarrass myself during the pickleball challenge, and we made
Nobody
it to the
said who said that on this show.
Oh my god,
David, did you say that?
I think I may have said that he was going to embarrass his dad, and let down his
studio
dad.
Too.
I had Anthony Totri over here in my ear. Didn't even compete. I was like, where the hell's Totri at? So, for me, it's just like, I'm a good sport. If I have a two-handed chug one day because I don't want to spill on my shirt, I'll eat that. I'll wear that for 3 years. But now it's like I have a renaissance, as B says in the chat, over the course of this last month, and it's crickets from it. There's nobody fucking here to celebrate my performance on Saturday morning, and nobody to celebrate. I told you after the 999 challenge, I went to my phone, and outside of our tremendous PHNX Cardinals member Discord, it was... no congratulatory. I see how this is.
I was proud of you, Johnny. I will say that. I was proud of you, and it was even heightened by the fact that your counterpart over there didn't decide to show up.
Absolutely. This is the nasty side of this industry, this business. They are quick to build you up, and they are quick to tear you down.
Even quicker, yeah.
That's right.
No doubt about it.
You have to be prepared.
Yeah.
It does need to be studied, Ozzy. I appreciate that.
I apologize for... not being there.
It's not your fault. Damon's holding that against you.
No, look.
We've all been there where babysitters bail. They have a conflict, and just nothing you can do.
It's like Rondale Moore's got a hamstring, Like, I got to get out there. If I want to be a big-time player, I got to be out there.
Sometimes it's about how much you want it.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Right. That's true.
The good news is We're having another tournament in December.
Oh, okay.
My co-host undoubtedly will be there.
I'm getting a W. I'm getting a W.
Well, let's not promise too much.
If Papa Venerable's not there, you think we join forces?
I think that I'm open to that. I'm
Okay.
open to having that conversation.
I'm just glad you're healing.
Yeah, nature's healing in a lot of ways. But yeah, let's scrub that photo from existence on the internet. Could we friends? I'm gonna tell you when I'm not.
It's never going away.
I'm not looking to
The
scrub
internet's
this.
forever, Johnny.
You're damn right it is. And speaking of the internet, go to truefantravel.com right now and join us in South Beach, Miami. We had some people confirm last week. They're coming to South Beach. A couple different members of this show. We want to see you. October 25th through the 28th. PHNX Cardinals road trip to Miami with our friends at True Fan Travel. The hottest ticket in town, starting at just $12.99 for packages that include airfare, travel and transportation to and from the airport, booze cruise, an alumni event, a tailgate event, and of course, the coup de grace. Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. taking on the newly signed Tua, Tyreek Hill and company in South Beach. It's Jonathan Gannon versus old Mike McDaniel. Had a farm. And we're going to be hanging out in Miami together at the hotel. If you check it out with our friends at True Fan Travel, it is on the beach, not beach adjacent, not across the street. It is on the beach. There's a tremendous pool, outdoor area. The vibes are going to be immaculate. We're going to be hanging out all weekend. So it's not just a one-off. You see us for 15 minutes and then it's over. Like, get ready to see this face for 4 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the best 4 days of your life.
Yep. The memories are going to last forever. That's right.
That's right.
Our faces are going to be certainly a part of those memories. Don't miss out on. Yeah, it was Jess and Selena, the whole fam there that we saw in the stands at State Farm Stadium. They locked in it.
I don't like this comment here.
What?
Joseph saying South Beach JV is going to be in bed every night by 8:30.
Mm-mm.
His W's are going to end.
This is Road Dogg JV. You guys have no idea. He's got some endurance to him.
This is a time to get content. It's a time to have fun. It's a time to celebrate.
Yep.
And my goal is to get there and get a W. And I feel like in a weird way, me staying out until 2 or 3 in the morning is going to help this team overcome, the difficulty of winning against a very viable AFC East opponent.
I'll tell you what, if we'll feel a lot better about it if we were going out and we're seeing Mike McDaniel out again. That's a
true.
fact.
That's true.
Guy can't help himself. He's just a socialite.
He loves to be a man of the people.
He is. He definitely is.
Likes to post up. Likes to hold court. I hope he's out there the night before a big game.
He likes to hold court, Damon. He likes to hold hands. He's looking to hold the hand of a loved one that he meets and maybe weds in South Beach this fall, October 25th through the 28th.
Be there.
Yeah. In all seriousness, it's going to be the best thing we've ever done at this company. If you have any questions, message us. DMs are wide open. Payment plans starting at, I think, 4 months you can get it up to for the payment plan. So have it paid off before you go. The package is worth its weight.
Yeah.
So definitely check it out right now, truefantravelboat.com.
Yeah, it's going to be, you forget about the actual game itself.
Yeah.
And you're going to be in attendance for it, watching it play out. With you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be
I'm
there.
going to be in the stands.
I'll probably be I'll hide in the press box.
Yeah, I bet you will.
No, I'll be hungover in the press box. It's going to be unbelievable. Can't wait. Make sure to check out gophnx.com/events for more details. True Fan Travel. Follow them on social as well. You kind of get some insight on what they do at True Fan Travel. You guys crushed it in the chat. We have some super chats left over. No, that's all it.
You guys are on fire this week. It's a big week. Red and white scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday. We actually have some preseason football, the Hall of Fame game this Thursday. So continued coverage with this team from training camp.
Are we going to see Caleb Williams?
Yeah.
He'll play in the Hall of Fame game?
I got to think so, right? I think that would be a mistake not to. Who's their backup in Chicago?
Bagent?
Oh, the Tatted King? Yeah.
Chase, best show around. Thanks, everyone. Fishbowl Flash, thank you. Jess, Valley Boy, love you as well. Hit that like button. We got some camp notes to look out for. Plus, Craig Morgan's got his Cardinals training camp notebook already live. Go phnx.com. Subscribe here. And we'll talk to you tomorrow at 4:30 right here on PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.